Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Adidas is a very big company that sells shoes and clothes. It worked with a famous designer named Willy Chavaria to make a new shoe. The shoe was called the Oaxaca Slip-On. It was a modern style of a traditional Mexican shoe. This traditional shoe is called a huarache. The top of the shoe had a special woven leather pattern. The bottom part, the sole, was thick white rubber, a very modern style. Adidas said the shoe mixed old traditions with new ideas. But there was a big problem. The new shoe looked very similar to the huaraches made by the Zapotec people in Oaxaca, Mexico. For the Zapotec people, making these shoes is an important part of their culture and history. They have made them for a very long time. Soon after the shoe was for sale, the government of Oaxaca spoke out. The governor, Salomon Jara Cruz, was very unhappy. He said that Adidas and the designer copied the design from the Zapotec community. He said they did not ask for permission to use it. The community did not get any money for their idea. He said a culture's history should not be for sale like a normal product. This started a serious argument around the world. People began to ask important questions about fashion. When does a company take inspiration from a culture in a good way, and when is it stealing? This story is about that difficult question. It is about a German company, a Mexican town, and a shoe that caused a global debate. 2. A German company and a Mexican town. Adidas is a famous company from a small town in Germany. Its story began a long time ago with two brothers, Adolf and Rudolf Dassler. In the 1920s, they made sports shoes in their mother's laundry room. They were very good at making shoes. At the 1936 Olympics, the American athlete Jesse Owens wore their shoes and won 4 gold medals. This made the brothers' company very well known. But after the Second World War, the brothers had a terrible argument. They decided to stop working together. In 1948, they split the company. Adolf, who people called Adi, started Adidas. His brother Rudolf started a different shoe company called Puma. The two companies were big rivals for many years. For a long time, Adidas was mainly a brand for athletes. This changed in the 1980s. In 1986, a hip-hop group from New York called Run DMC wrote a song called My Adidas. They loved wearing the company's superstar sneakers. The song became a big hit, and many young people wanted to wear Adidas shoes. Suddenly, Adidas was not just for sports. It was a symbol of cool street style and music culture. The company saw this and made a deal with the group. It was one of the first big deals between a music group and a sports brand. This helped Adidas become a powerful cultural brand. Later, they worked with many famous artists and fashion designers to make new products. Thousands of miles away from Germany, in the high mountains of Oaxaca, Mexico, live the Zapotec people. They have lived in this area for centuries, long before Europeans arrived. They call themselves the Benza, which means the people of the clouds. Weaving is very important to Zapotec life and culture. It is a tradition that is passed down through families, from parents to children. They learn to spin wool and use special plants and even insects to make bright colors for their textiles. These are ancient skills that are still used today. The patterns they weave are more than just pretty designs. Each one has a special meaning. Some patterns show mountains, and others show animals. They are like a language that tells the history and beliefs of their community. The Zapotec people also use their skills to make traditional leather sandals called huaraches. These are not simple shoes. Each pair is carefully woven by hand. The knowledge of how to make them is a family treasure. But it is difficult for the artisans to make a good living from their work. A pair of huaraches that takes days to make might sell for only $40 in a local market. For the Zapotec people, their traditional craft is a beautiful and important part of their identity. 3. A history of mistakes. The problem with the Oaxaca shoe was not a new experience for Adidas. The company had made a very big and public mistake before. In 2012, Adidas worked with a designer named Jeremy Scott. They planned to release a special shoe. The sneakers were colorful, but they had a strange part. They had yellow rubber chains attached to them that looked like handcuffs. When Adidas showed pictures of the shoes online, many people became very angry. They said the design was deeply insensitive and offensive. The chains made people think about the terrible history of slavery. This was a very serious issue, not a fun idea for fashion. Important people like the Reverend Jesse Jackson spoke out against the shoes. He called the design shockingly offensive. On social media, thousands of people complained and told others not to buy Adidas products. The company saw the strong reaction and acted quickly. A person from Adidas explained that the design was not meant to hurt anyone. They said it was supposed to be a fun and light-hearted idea. The designer said his idea came from a children's toy. But because so many people were upset, Adidas canceled the shoe's release. However, the company did not seem to learn a deep lesson from this problem. They just removed the product and moved on to the next one. They did not announce any big changes to their design process. This past mistake shows a pattern. It suggests that Adidas was not always careful when using ideas from different cultures and histories. 4. Fashion takes from cultures. The problem with the Adidas shoe was not a new story. It is a big problem in the fashion industry. Many famous companies have taken designs from different cultures without asking. This happens again and again. Nike is one example. In 2013, the company sold sports clothes for women. The clothes had patterns that looked like traditional Samoan tattoos. These tattoos are called the pe. In Samoa, the pe is very important and sacred. It is a special tradition for men. People from the Pacific Islands were upset. Nike used their sacred culture to sell leggings and sports bras. Another company, Gucci, did something similar in 2019. Gucci sold a head wrap for $790. It looked exactly like a dastar, the turban that Sikh men wear. For Sikhs, the dastar is a very important part of their religion. It is not a fashion accessory. Many Sikh people felt it was wrong for Gucci to sell their sacred item for a high price. The company Zara has also faced this problem many times. In 2021, Mexico's Ministry of Culture sent a letter to Zara. The letter said Zara copied designs from the Mixtec people in Mexico. These designs are used for special clothes for ceremonies. The Mexican government said this was wrong. So why does this happen so often? Fashion is a fast business. Companies always need new and exotic ideas for their clothes. Designers see interesting patterns when they travel or look online. They take these ideas and use them, but they often do not understand the culture behind the design. They do not ask for permission, give credit, or share money with the communities. A big company makes a lot of money from the design, but the original artists, who are often from poor communities, get nothing. It becomes a kind of theft. 5. Is it sharing or stealing? The problem with the Adidas shoe started a big argument. The main question is this: when is using another culture's art okay, and when is it wrong? People call this the difference between appreciation and appropriation. Appreciation is when you learn about and respect another culture. It can be a good way to share ideas. Appropriation is when you take something from another culture without asking for permission. You often do not understand its real meaning. This is a difficult question, and people have very different answers. Some people believe that sharing designs is a good thing. They say it helps artists and designers be more creative. In fashion, designers have always used ideas from different parts of the world. This mixing of cultures can create new and exciting styles. This group argues that no one should own a design or a pattern. They believe that trying to stop people from sharing ideas will make the world less creative. To them, a design is just a design. It is not a serious problem when a company uses a pattern from another country. They feel it helps cultures connect with each other. However, many other people see the situation very differently. They say it is not sharing, it is stealing. This is especially true when a powerful, rich company takes from a small, poor community. For the Zapotec people, making huarache sandals is not just a job. It is part of their history and their identity. The special woven patterns have deep meanings that are passed down through families. When a big company copies these designs to sell shoes, it takes away that special meaning. It turns something important into a simple product for sale. This feels like theft to the people who created the original designs. Money and power are the biggest reasons why this is a problem. Adidas is a global company worth billions of dollars. It can make thousands of shoes in big factories and sell them all over the world. The Zapotec artisans cannot do this. They work slowly by hand to make each pair of shoes. Adidas can sell its shoe for a lot of money, but the artisans in Oaxaca get nothing. The company gets the profit, while the community that created the art gets no benefit. This is why many people say it is not fair. Real sharing means that everyone benefits. When one group has all the power and makes all the money, it is not sharing. It is taking something without giving anything back. 6. Working together in a good way. Not all big companies make the mistake of stealing designs. Some businesses show a better way to work with different cultures. Instead of taking ideas without asking, they build strong and respectful partnerships. This is a fair way to work together that helps everyone. One great example is the outdoor clothing company Patagonia. It has a special program with Native American communities. Patagonia works with these groups to use traditional materials like cedar bark. The communities decide which designs can be used, so they always have control over their sacred art. This is very important. The company pays the artisans fairly for their work and knowledge. They also share the profits from the sales. Patagonia also helps by supporting education programs. This means the community can teach their traditional skills to their children and keep their culture alive for the future. Another company, Furherty, also shows how to collaborate well. This fashion brand has a partnership program with several Native American designers. They are treated as true partners. Furherty does not just use their designs. It gives the designers resources and mentorship to help them grow their own businesses. They also work together to create new collections. The Native American designers get a share of the money from the clothes they help create. This kind of partnership is a long-term relationship built on trust, not a fast project to make money quickly. These good examples show what a real partnership looks like. The community is not just an idea for a product. They are people who are part of the process. They control their own culture and art. They receive fair pay and a share of the profits. The companies help to protect these important traditions, not harm them. This shows that appreciation is possible when it includes respect, permission, and shared success. 7. Making new rules. The problems with companies like Adidas showed that clear rules were needed. Now, governments are starting to act. They are making new laws to protect their national cultures. For example, Mexico's government created a special law. This law is very important for indigenous and Afro-Mexican groups. It says their cultural heritage, like their special designs, belongs to them as a group. A big company cannot just take a design and use it on a shoe or a shirt. They must first talk to the community and get their permission. The community has the right to say no. If a company uses a design without asking, it is breaking the law. They can face large fines and other penalties. This law gives power back to the artists and their communities. It is not just one country making these changes. International organizations are also trying to solve this problem. One important group is the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO. WIPO is working with countries from all over the world. Their goal is to create new international agreements. These agreements would give legal protection to traditional knowledge and cultural art. This work is difficult and takes a long time because so many countries must agree on the rules. However, it is a very important step to protect cultures globally. Consumers, the people who buy clothes, also have a very important role. In fact, they may have the most power of all. When people get angry about a product on social media, the company notices. This can hurt the company's name and its sales. People can choose where to spend their money. They can learn about different brands and support the ones that are ethical. An ethical brand is one that works fairly with communities. They give credit and share money with the original artists. Before you buy something with a traditional design, you can ask a simple question: who made this? When many people do this, it sends a strong message. It tells the fashion industry that it must be more careful and respectful. This protects culture and helps the real artists who keep these traditions alive. 8. What happens next? The big argument about the Oaxaca slip-on shoe finally came to an end. The designer, Willy Chavarria, made a public apology. He said he was sorry for his actions. He explained that his plan was to celebrate Mexican culture, not to hurt it. He understood that he did not talk to the community in Oaxaca, and this was wrong. His apology showed that he knew he did not give the people the respect they deserved. Adidas also took an important step. After being silent for some time, the company started to talk with officials from the Mexican government. A government minister named Marina Núñez told the public that Adidas was ready to discuss paying money to the Oaxacan community. This payment was for using their design without permission. This was a very different response. In the past, when companies made similar mistakes, they often just stopped selling the product. They did not usually talk about paying the communities. This whole problem taught the fashion industry some very important lessons. First, companies learned that taking a culture's designs has serious consequences. It can hurt a company's name, and people may stop buying their products. Second, the way a company does something is very important. It is not enough to just like a design. Companies must work with the people who own the culture. They must ask for permission and listen to the community. This must happen before a product is made. The story also showed how powerful the internet and social media are today. A complaint from a community in Mexico did not stay in Mexico. It traveled around the world in a few hours. This put pressure on Adidas to do the right thing. The future of fashion depends on these lessons. Brands need to change how they work. They must be more respectful and honest. Instead of taking ideas, they should create partnerships. This means working with artisan communities as equals. They can share profits and tell the real story behind the designs. This way, both the company and the community can benefit. What do you think is the most important thing a brand should do when it is inspired by another culture?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.